Embark on your journey, the path you must take. Though hate may surround you, it's not your fate to forsake. Co-creating your destiny in the dance of time. The guiding light within you ignites the sublime. It is the light, the guiding light from the heart and soul. Don't lose control. Let it be the light, shining bright, unlocking potential beyond belief, taking flight. In the depths of your being, the truth resides. Embrace your power, let your spirit rise. With every step forward, you transcend the expanded conscious community we commend. Through trials and triumphs, your soul evolves in the symphony of life, where every note resolves. Listen to the whispers of your inner voice. In unity and love, let your heart rejoice. It is the light, the guiding light from the heart and soul. Don't lose control. Let it be the light, shining bright, unlocking potential beyond belief, taking flight. It is the light, the guiding light from the heart and soul. Don't lose control. Let it be the light, shining bright, unlocking potential beyond belief, taking flight. As we gather together in this sacred space, embracing transformation with grace. Life coach Malakai leads the way in unlocking potential day by day. Embracing transformation with grace. Life coach Malakai leads the way, unlocking potential day by day.
Coming out, y'all. Juneteenth. This record right here, Beyond Belief. It is an amazing life transformation. Repeated listening may dissolve unlimited beliefs. It is amazing. I'm going to be doing.
It's not how many times you pray, not just the words you say. It's not the thoughts you try to hold. It's the fire you let unfold. It's how you move, how you breathe, the truth you choose to believe. You're the spark, you're the flame, you're the voice behind the name. So let your true colors show. Only you can really know. The feeling is the secret, no matter if you believe it. Go within or go without, burn the fear, race the doubt.
Ooh, come on. It's going to be hot. It's going to be hot. Hey, man, today's show, it's pre-recorded, but it's going to be hot. Y'all going to like it. I promise you. But not, I'll be with you right after this intro. That's it right there. Miss Cassandra. Ce Anderson, right? Miss Candyce, CE and Candyce. It's on Instagram is CE Anderson. If you're on Instagram, CE Anderson, but her name is Candyce CE Anderson. This is a recorded show that I had with the private community. It was an amazing, amazing show. I might interrupt here and there, but I want to reveal it and open it up to the public so everyone gets an opportunity and a chance to really connect with Miss Anderson. It was an amazing show. I don't do this. I usually just focus on YouTube and Facebook. That's where most of the people that follow this live show, that's where you guys are. But today I went on and threw it up on Instagram. So if you are on Instagram right now and you decide to tap in and tune in and see this, just know that this has really been a Facebook, YouTube thing. Instagram has its own way of the way it delivers live content from within StreamYard. But I appreciate you for those who are here, right? And everyone that is in the room, hello. Miss Russell. All right, we got the fam bam here. Miss D. Thank you, Miss Deidre. Miss Marie. I know you're there. Miss Gwen. Yes. All right. Thank you, D. Like and share for sure. Yes, this is going to be good. So, hey, if you're looking for transformation, if you're looking for things to impact your life and something to that you can have as tools to rethink some things, today's your day, because Miss CE Anderson is she's a therapist, an amazing known therapist that I know that has she really knows what she's doing, what she's talking about. And she's really on the same page as I am. You can just be in that vein. So I'm here to let you know that you're going to be it's going to be a treat. Let's look at this right there. That's her. This is Miss Anderson right here. So if you want to follow her page, it is CE Anderson live on Instagram, and I'm pretty sure it's the same thing on Facebook. She is also not only a therapist, but she also does Reiki. And we have a little bit of conversation about that with talking about her Reiki. Let's see. I guess that didn't. Oh, it just opens up a new screen. Huh. Yeah. So she is also CE Anderson on Facebook. I mean, she's been everywhere on radio stations, on national television. She's had a TED Talk. Yeah, you're in for a treat. I promise you. And I will be here. I'm still doing this live, even though we pre-recorded this for I pre-recorded this some weeks ago when she had available time. And that's one thing about the live community is that I try to do some extra things and looking forward to do even more with the private community. So the way I'm going to do this is we're going to dive right into this, folks. Once I get my old computer to go to where we need to be. I thought I was already queued up. I hope everyone is doing well tonight. I hope everyone's well. Check Instagram real quick. Thank you guys for all who's tapped in and tuned in on Instagram. I know some people don't stay long on Instagram. They jump in and jump out. All right, here we go. See if we can accomplish this. Miss Deidre is out at a concert. Hopefully she's having, I know she'll have a time. All right, here we go. Had to redo some things real quick. All right. Healing is yours. That is the title of this. Always, I so appreciate you for your time and appreciate you for your work and what you're doing and bringing to this space into the world.
My pleasure. I'm glad to be here. It's always divine to connect with other people in the collective who do the work and who are attempting to usher our brothers and our sisters into wellness and health and elevation. So, yeah.
I love the word choice is amazing. Oh my goodness. Today I'm titling this as Healing is Yours. And of course, understanding and knowing, like, especially in today's environment and what we may be experiencing or going through. And so what I would like to, of course, just open up for people to get established with who you are and some of the work with that you actually do, in this.
It's a lot, right? I'm a licensed psychotherapist, right? I'm licensed in four states, several certifications, EMDR, and I'm working on a clinical hypnosis cert that I'll be finished with this month. But I'm also a level 2 practitioner of Reiki and somatic body work. And I have a very holistic approach to therapy. I work not exclusively, but a lot of my work in theory and practice is centered around the wellness and the healing transgenerationally of Black and Brown people. I have a special place in my heart for Black women and those before and after them, right? Because one of my mantras is that when you heal yourself, you heal your daughter and you heal your mother, right? So a lot of my work is centered around the wellness of women because we are the thermostat. Healing, abundance, amplification of anything comes through the woman. And so because of my own journey and what I feel is my calling, that is who I support and who I center. But I do some things on the peripheral as well with organizations, businesses, men, children, etc. So that's just a little bit of who I am.
Ooh, oh my God, this is about to be rich. A big chunk of my following is people that will connect to this message. I don't know if you've ever heard of the late, great Bishop Carlton Pearson or not.
Yes.
Okay, so I was his co-host and worked with him for many years.
Wow.
So this show is a continuation of what we were working on together when he transitioned. So I had his channel and we kind of let the family move on with the legacy, but the expanded conscious community and the expanded consciousness stuff that he was working on, talking about, we were doing together. And so we've the part of the community that really loved expanded consciousness, and we have theology, and the aspects of that and acceptance and things of that. But we really, especially Bishop and I, we loved this here and how to expand, what to expand, and there's so much within consciousness and the expansion of it, and then getting granular down to people such as yourself, right? And so it is so divine. Like, it's hard for me whenever it's like, oh my God, he would have loved you. But you're the one that start talking about ancestral and healing, and you're the one and so we are firm in understanding that his divine presence and those that have followed are still here with us, in us, working,
Yes.
as us, and we can take that on. So I just welcoming and thanking the spirit and essence of you and that, man, just hearing those words. So every once in a while I might pull myself off and you'll just see yourself because I want to focus on what you have to say.
Sure.
You said so much just in that, with just the thing talking about coming from a clinical space, but then you being able to deep dive and connect to some of the metaphysics or some of that work, or energy work and things of that nature is really profound to me. It's
all connected. It's all connected for me, right? For me,
tell me more. I want to know
it's
how
all connected. It's so psychology is actually, right, if we look at the Latin of that word, it's the study of the soul. It's not the mind, it's not the brain, it's not the head, it's the soul, right? So it is the study of one's essence. And so we can't separate the two, or at least I don't, because when you do yourself a disservice, right? So when people come into my space and they sit on my couch and they are telling me their pain, the first thing I let them know is that we're not going to go off and search for your healing. We're going to uncover it, right? We're going to uncover the soul that was brought into the earth via your parents, the vessel, right? Because you come from God through your parents, right? So we are going to work to uncover who you were before the world said otherwise. Who you were before things happened around you and you interjected them, or you absorbed them and found yourself in this space. So that's what I mean when I say all of it is connected. You cannot separate it.
I have to come the Pentecostal out of me. I'm expanded. I've been doing it for a long time, and my theology is real different from other people, but I still connect to some of the roots, and I don't need a hoop or a holler anymore. I just need those words. To vibrate in this frequency. Oh my goodness.
We're spiritual beings living in this very physical, tangible world. And I think that we make the mistake of only seeing and only thinking and only feeling in this 3D world, right? I spend so much time trying to get women connected to their womb, trying to get them connected back to their intuition, and trying to get them connected to their spirit. Because we have been conditioned, right? We've been conditioned to betray and abandon ourselves and listen to all these other voices. And then we wake up one day and we go, oh my God, how did I get here? What do you mean, how did you get here? You chose them over yourself, whether that was your parents, right? Because we choose our parents a lot of times, attachment versus authenticity. So for me, I'll give you some of my personal story. So I was not supposed to be here. And when I say that, I mean that my mother went into labor 3 months before I was due, right? I was 2 pounds when I was born. And they were like, oh, she's not going to make it. Like, you guys come say goodbye. Yeah, we got her hooked up to all these things, but she's not viable, right? And so I grew up in DC in the 80s, where the crack epidemic was at its height, and the world was really, really scary around me. But even in that, with growing up with a parent who's an alcoholic, and growing up with generations of shame being projected onto me, I was still very much connected to what was around me and what my purpose was. Like even at a young age, right? And I was always told, oh my gosh, Candyce, you want too much. Oh my gosh, you're so sensitive, right? Because I would feel everything so deeply. I would hear things, I would see things. I'm 5 years old and calling adults out on things that don't look right, don't feel right. So I literally, one of my neighbors, her nickname for me was Miss Grony. Yeah, I just remember that. She used to call me Miss Grony because I was not like, I'm sorry, what you're saying isn't kind, and I'm a human, so I want to be talked to this way. And in a Black family, that's not that, we don't do that, right? It's what stays in this house, happens in this house, stays in this house, which teaches us not to feel, not to think, and not to trust. And then we also learn children are to be seen and not heard, right? So we lose our voice. So I had to go back and rediscover who I was in order for me to walk in the calling and walk in my soul's purpose in this work, because I wanted to be an orthodontist.
Wow. But you were already brilliant. You were already, like, from a kid, you had already tapped in and tuned into something, like you had already been here before, right? And it was, and therefore they did not understand or could not. That goes back to, honestly, my saying on psychology and a lot of the psychological studies. I love Carl Jung. I love different people, but the thing is a lot of those, it wasn't based on anything to do with blackness or Black people research wise.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. It's all standardized white European worldview lens experience, which is why I created the space that I now have for people who look like me, for people who experience like we do, right? Could feel safe. Could feel safe. Because if I tell a Black woman to go no contact with her mother, that's not going to go over well. No. No. That's not going to go over well.
The thing is, sis, the thing is, your healing is in the no contact with mama.
So then for Black women, we have to figure out how we do that while honoring the culture. And that is the way I help people that look like me, that look like you, navigate their mental health and not manage, but eliminate stress, eliminate toxicity, eliminate those things. Having my people understand their feelings. Oh, you're feeling angry? Well, you know what that probably is? That's probably disappointment displaced. So where have you been disappointed? Oh, there's resentment. Okay, so that is probably unfairness unaddressed. What feels unfair to you that nobody sees and nobody's tried to fix for you? Embarrassment, involuntary vulnerability. Right? So it's my job, right, to help us better understand who we are. That's my goal always, is for you to better understand you so you don't need me anymore. This morning I had one of my patients. I used to work at the She Care Pods with the Taraji P. Henson Foundation at Alabama State University. So it's graduation. So I had a couple of young ladies invite me to graduation. And one of them, I saw her and she just bawled her eyes out. She was like, Miss Candyce, she said, I would not be here if it were not for you walking this with me. And I got her flowers out of my garden, right? Out of my garden. And then I bought her a journal, and in the journal, I wrote some things. And I gave it to her. When she opened it, she started weeping. And she said, I know I haven't talked to you in the last 3 or 4 months, but I want you to know that that was because your words were working. Right? So me helping her and other people better understand themselves, then you get to do differently. You get to be different. You get to show up differently. So that is what I mean when I talk about how this is excavation. This is a deeper understanding of oneself. And I'm not here so that you feel less anxious. I'm here so that you understand the anxiety, the root of the anxiety, what counters the anxiety, and the lie that you have been telling yourself that is causing the anxiety. That's different. That's different.
I wasn't prepared for this. But I honor it because of the fact that that's how spirit works.
Absolutely.
I'm so thankful that I have had this opportunity to get you at this moment before you're so big that it will be hard to reach you, because I've worked with people in my life, working with Bishop Carlton Pearson to Miles to Monroe to Wayman. I've worked with a lot of celebrities, and the thing is being able to get to people can be difficult because everybody's trying to get to them. And I'm here to not to declare, but help advance what is already done. It's already done. We're just at the, everything you've done and been through, and websites to this, to that, to social media. The thing is your voice and what you got to say is healing for the world, right? At this time and at this moment, especially with this administration that's going to help advance what you got to say, right? Because it matters. It matters. I had this download right when you said that, and I'm like, she's perfect. She's perfectly positioned for Black research. We talk about Carl Jung. She can get 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 20,000 Black women to answer some questions to do this research so that we can actually have some data that also backs up what you have to say, because this is not the things that you're saying are holy cow. Like with Black women, you heard about Big Mama, and nobody told Big Mama. Nobody wants to be around Big Mama, and Big Mama has to go to her grave not being liked, right?
Yeah.
Because nobody was like, oh, we got to tell her. And you know what's crazy about the Big Mama? It actually can happen in white families where that patriarch or that woman, and nobody, and especially in the South, nobody sits back and tell her and be like,
yes, because I've met white Big Mamas that are ornery and surly. Because this is the other part. My clientele consists of brothers who want to advance and learn and have corrective experiences with the feminine, or Black women who desire to grow, and then also white women over 50. I can't get rid of them. They love the work that we do together. Love it.
Your focus is where you are now, but you've alchemized. The divine has reached you. The divine has reached you. You're just here now, but holy cow, like, it's beautiful and it's such a blessing. And I'm not doing this just to pander. I promise you.
No, you are confirmation. And that's why, me holding my hands out is to receive exactly what you're saying, because I'm in alignment and I believe exactly what you're saying. Yeah.
All that, but everything else comes with that, right? Whether it's courses and money, and then being able to do research. I love Joe Dispenza, but I need a Black woman, Joe Dispenza, that has the ability to do the testing and to get grants,
Yeah, because
I mean,
it's needed. And I did a lot of both at Howard, I did some independent research, but then also in grad school. And so a lot of my work, a lot of the problems I like to solve, I'm always looking at the data. I'm always looking at the empirical research and what has been found thus far, right? What are the numbers telling us? Because for me, in a way that, my brain works the logical side of me, but then, okay, what is that? Then what does spirit want to tell me about this thing? Right. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
We'll keep it rolling. We'll keep it moving. Here's the thing. I want to sort of switch gears because you got this clinical and you got this spirit situation that we're talking about. 97% of Black people consider themselves Christian, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of that demographic, there's a big chunk of them that just consider themselves they don't do nothing with it. That is, there are more Black people
Mm-hmm.
that are, this is data, Pew
Mm-hmm.
Research, that are that actually claim this than any other race. Right?
So let me say this before you continue. If you want to go down this road with me, disclaimer, I want your listeners to pay attention, not have an emotional response to what I'm going to say, but to really hear and digest, and then you can feel later, but to hear what I'm saying. Continue, King.
Yes. Between how it benefits us, how it doesn't benefit us, colonization, blah, blah, blah. We colonize ourselves. We can go all throughout that. But my thing is that's a thing also that us as Black people will either hide behind or will use to justify our illnesses, right? And things we go through. If you look at the whole church situation and how a woman sits within that whole paradigm, right? How misogynistic the whole situation is, pretty much with a lot of the various denominations. There's, I think, 48,000 denominations, but there's a lot there. I already knew there was an alignment with you because I'm like, she can talk this way, but yet though she's Reiki, which most people don't have any idea about energy work. And I'm like, so there's some alignment. So one thing you can be fully aware of in this community, most people that come to me are wanting to hear what you have to say to confirm what they have already left from the church.
Yeah.
So this is your people in your community. I have some people they're going to love you, and you just get ready to be flooded. Don't freak out when you start seeing these people start following you and commenting, okay? Because there are a lot of people that are looking for you, that have already broken free and breaking away from that.
Yes.
And you're confident.
Yes. Because when you break free, there's a recalibration that has to happen.
Ooh.
There's a recalibration and there's a release that has to happen. Yeah. So I grew up in the church. Like I grew up in the church, and then when I moved to Baptist.
Okay.
Baptist, right? So it was, no pants in the sanctuary. You don't chew gum, and women don't preach in the pulpit, and women don't sit on the front row, and and you're a filthy rag and all that.
Man, that's a lot of Kojic. I go to a Church of God in Christ.
Then I went to Kojic, and then I went to non-denominational when I got to Alabama, right? And the pandemic really put me in a different position because I had always wondered and asked questions to pastors, to the religious or the faith matriarchs in my family, and no one could answer them, right? Like I remember vividly as a teenager talking to my aunt Gloria. I talk about her all the time. She's like 84 now. And I would ask her, like, I want to explore, other systems of faith. And she would be like, no, because it's going to lead you astray. We don't do that over here, honey. You got over there dibbling and dabbling. And I'm like, because my question was, how is Christianity more valid than my friend who is Muslim and my other friend who is Buddhist?
And they happy.
It felt, yeah, right. And happy and joyous, right? Like they never tried to convert me. They didn't say they had to win my soul or save my soul. And there was never any of that. There was always love and kindness. That was always present, right? So I was like, well, this feels really arrogant. I'm confused. Like, I don't understand. Well, lean not to your own understanding. Well, whose understanding am I to lean to? Right? So I suppressed it for a while. And up until the pandemic, I was a member at a very big church, a mega church, a very well-known pastor. And I was co-facilitating the youth ministry. I did a lot of work in the church with the mental health. I was, side by side with the pastor and his wife and at their home and their ranch and all of those kinds of things, which allowed me to, one, see behind the veil. That's the first thing. Secondly, when the pandemic happened, something shifted in me because I didn't have all the noise and all the opinions of all the people around me, right? So, because here's the thing, when you go to church, you go on Sunday, but you need to go back Wednesday for Bible study, but then you need to go back Thursday for prayer service, right? So you have to continue the drip, because if the drip stops, then logically you start to wonder and explore other things, whether it's your own thoughts, whether it's questions deep down here, in your soul, or whatever it is. All right. So with the pandemic, I went into a space of the questions that I had suppressed started to come up. There's more. I see things. I have dreams that come true. Well, wait a minute. That's not of God, supposedly, right? Like all of these kinds of, I couldn't figure out why a patient would come in my office and I would see her whole life. Names, places, events. I vividly remember a client coming in, a young guy, and he was in the LGBTQ community, and he's talking to me, and immediately I saw this man behind these metal doors, and he started talking about his partner, and I said, "Is your partner in the closet?" And he was like, "Oh my God, how did you know that?" Because I can see it, right? But I come from a long line of seers.
Yep.
But you know why I didn't know that? Because they had been told that they were demonic and that they were going to go to hell if they didn't repent or turn away from their God-given abilities. Okay, so I go through with the help of a mentor, psychologist. The brother's name is Dr. Jeff Menzie. Was my mentor for some time, and I learned. And when I learned what I'm about to say, I wept. I was in my car and I wept. I learned the history. This is not about God or Jesus, but I learned the history of King James.
King Jamie.
When you know, you know. The necromancer, right? Wrote a whole book of on the dead, right? The Apocrypha, the parts of the book that we did not have access to, right? The fact about I'm looking at Black people and church is requiring of them, in order to be saved and rescued, to have the lowliest idea of themselves, to give their rent money with the hope that God will see them and replenish the supply. Well, if that's the case, then why doesn't the church pray for the money and not get it from the people? Right? So I'm going through all of these thoughts, all of these things. And when I learned that in the same year that the King James Version of the Bible was published, 1611, that one of the members in his court, John Porey, took that book and went to several countries. And when he got to Africa, took two people and ended up in Virginia in 1619, a Black woman, an African woman, and an African man, and enslaved them with that book. And then I learned that as enslaved Africans, initially, we weren't even allowed to be Christians because in their mind, it would make us equal. But then they said, if we throw some other stuff in there, then it can work. Slaves, obey your master. Turn the other cheek. Your reward is in heaven, right? So that we continue to work towards this thing that truly is supposed to be here on earth, but work in a way that benefits other people. My babies are at home, but I'm here with Miss Millie, birthing, wet nursing, and raising her children. I live in a shack, but I'm building the mansion on this plantation. So I'm not surprised when I see Black folks afraid to step out into entrepreneurship and create their own when they are used to making money for other people and being satisfied with the crumbs. I'm not surprised when I see poverty in every city that you go to, but on every corner, there's a church right across the street from the liquor store. So we have set in what is supposed to be a temple, the house of God, our co-creator. And we have been blinded from our own God consciousness, our own divinity. So much so that we go 3 times a week for decades and we have no power. None. Because Junebug's still in jail. We still lost the house. Big Mama still got diabetes, high blood pressure, hypertension. And we still don't, Lord, we don't know how we're going to get out of this. And oh, Father, if you could just help me, Lord. Just, I know I'm, what? Do you know what this melanin? I know I don't have a lot, okay? I know I don't have a lot. Okay, it's a mix of slave and slave owner. I don't have a lot of melanin, all right? But the melanin, but the melanin that we do possess, right? The devoid of how much is powerful. If I take this bun down right now, my hair is pointing straight at the sun to bring in that energy, right? If I walk into a room, I can tell if you were talking about me or not without you saying anything, Right now, my daughter, who is grown in DC and living her best life, I can have a dream. I can show you text messages. And I will say, Ladybug, I had a dream about you. Oh my God, Mom, I had a dream about you too. Ladybug, I saw this guy in your dream. 2 weeks later, I said, and he was really nice. He had good energy. 2 weeks later, she texted me, Mom, I met the guy that was in your dream. Right? This is what happens when we stop believing what they have told us, what they have lied to us about, what they have cut us off from and labeled as occult and demonic. Tell your children of their magic. Tell them. They need to know. They need to know what manifestation looks like. They need to know that they are alchemists. They need to know that. They need to know that they are not just here in this 3D world. They need to know that. Because when you know, you do differently. When you know who you are, you show up differently. Yeah.
Man, how long have you been holding this?
Actually, I don't know if I've ever said this recorded.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever said this recorded, but
that's the transmission. Because listen, sis, listen.
Yeah.
That's my whole channel is everything about what you're saying. That's it. The whole entire channel. My father's a pastor. I went to Oral Roberts University. I went to.
Did you?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's why I'm here in Tulsa. I went to Oklahoma Wesleyan. My master's is in business, right? I was a media person, multimedia person for Mega. I can work with Mega Ministries, right? And so it is the reason why I ask how long have you had that, because my thing is the way it's flowing out is like, I don't know where the CE that I was looking at on Instagram, this is not that person.
So look, so right now, I like literally probably this week, I got the message. It was like, now is okay for you to step out in fullness. That was the message this week.
Ooh, hey, I still feel give me the keys to the Honda. You know what I mean?
Oh, won't he do it? But that essentially, that was the message, that it's okay.
Jesus. Hey, I'm going to tell you this. Let it rain, let it rain, let it rain, let it rain, because it's not about the people that want to come against you. But it's about the people that are needing that clarity to be set free. Right.
And that's what it is. It's the freedom, right? And I remember somebody asking me, how do you live so free? I said, first of all, right, my core commitment, and a core commitment is that one thing, one word usually, that you can drill down your entire existence to, that one thing that you desire. And mine has always been freedom. So this is what happens. When you recognize your core commitment, i.e. freedom, then you start to recognize how everything that has happened has tried to prevent you from that. So mine was always feeling trapped, being bound, right? And not being able to move and exist in a way that was free, right? So it really started in the pandemic for me. And then when they had the brawl, the riverfront brawl here in Montgomery, right before that, I was having what's called the feminine flow experience, where it was women coming into a healing space. They were fed, they were honored. We had a healing circle, and we went down for veneration to the waterfront, because that is one of the ports that they would export the cotton and bring in our enslaved ancestors. And I said, we will not have this gathering without us walking and paying our respects. And so I gave all the women roses, and we went down, we put them in the water, we had our incense, and we were praying, we were giving thanks. And 2 hours later, the brawl broke out. 2 hours later. So the video of us walking to the water went viral. And you know what happened? I had a pastor label us as witches, right?
Awesome.
Of course, right? I was like, I mean, if that's what you want to call it, I don't care. Because what that means to me is, one, you're afraid because you can't do what I do. Secondly, you don't want the women in your congregation to start following me and get free. Okay? Because I know who I am. I know who I am. Okay?
Just the tone of your voice and knowing that and how you operate, right? I'm like, what they describe as a witch and what they see as a person that, well, first of all, a lot of that came from King James, right? Whenever he wrote.
Yes. Meanwhile, he had witches in his court, conjuring for him.
And he wrote in 1597. He wrote a book, 1611. Like Council of Nicaea had all the Bible put together. But prior to that, as you're talking about having those people around him, he wrote a book, Demonology, right? In like the 1950s, right? Because they started having witch trials in the 1590s. I'm sorry. So the thing is a lot of what they do today when it comes to that is related to him, leading all the way up to the Salem witch trials.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And they were killing kids and women, right? That could actually just, they were more or less shaman, if you will, some of them, right? And it's so interesting. One, we don't have any clue of the history, right? It's freely open and available. and thus reducing your personal power. Right.
The subjugation. It is.
And we wonder why we're here.
And we wonder why we're here. I know exactly why we're here, right? And almost in anything, I can see the system that continues to maintain it, right? So when I choose to homeschool my babies, or when I choose to not purchase there, or when I choose to not make that kind of video, there's a purpose behind it. I will not make a video that's going to bash or demean a Black man. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Wow. That's, you know what? That's because I've been having these conversations about people because I understand toxic masculinity. I understand there's a level of misogyny that we're dealing with. I understand, especially with Black males, the consciousness that they may live in this space when it comes to how they feel. But also I understand the history and the boundness that they are locked into, right? But it's one thing, exactly what you said, is if you speak into the energy, right? If you speak in this in terms of make it in duality, make it in a competition, right? All of a sudden you're
part of it. You become part of the oppression.
You're feeding it.
Yeah, absolutely. Because my mantra is that we need each other. We need each other.
Oh my God. You like literally an hour ago, I was just having this conversation. Oh my God. About just the energy. And I get it. Listen, 70, I mean, probably 90% of the people that I'm connected to or follow me is female.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? And I'm
Mm-hmm.
looking to do everything I can
Mm-hmm.
to lift up and empower,
Mm-hmm.
right? I come from a Black female. What are you talking about?
And for me, there's no way that I can raise a good son. And by good, I mean like a good human, right? A good human. There's no way that I can honor my father. There's no way that I could be here to support and hold my blood brothers and have a disdain for Black men. There's no way. So when I get really concerned when I see my queens who are Black men ain't all do this and they have sons. And I'm like, oh my God, because there's no way that you can live in that space and that not trickle down to your son. There's no way. There's no way that you can still carry the wound and the disappointment from his father. Listen to me. Listen to me, sis. There's no way that you can carry the disappointment from your son's father for whatever you think he owes you because he didn't do what he said he was going to do. He didn't, whatever it is, and that not affect and impact the way you raise him. There's no way. There's no way.
Man, such a time as this. Oof. When we think about our experiences and when we really did feel something in church, like there were moments that we had connection or something through our emotions, right?
Yes.
And I think it was part of our foundation, and part of that's from the African ancestral roots.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because Bishop Mason was a conjurer, but I mean, his grandmother was a hoodoo.
Uh-huh.
You know, and so therefore, words, one of the most amazing technologies that we've developed, still yet developing, communication.
Mm-hmm.
And thankfully, we've been in this era and this age, and you and I can pull out the words and then make it plain. I wanted to commend you on that, because a lot of people do this spirituality and they do this consciousness, and it could be very heavy, right? And heady, right? The knowledge makes it heady, and it could be heavy,
right?
And we look to articulate ourselves to be philosophical, right? And we're not solving anything.
No,
right?
But because we've confused and we've conflated so many things, because the essence and just being is philosophical. Being, right? Let me tell you, when I give homework, particularly to Black women, because we don't get to do this normally, and I say, I want you to go home, preferably in a closet. If you have a walk-in closet, for 15 minutes and sit still, no phone, put your timer on, right? And I just want you to just sit. Do you know how many people fail? Do you know how many people give up after 2 minutes? Do you know how many people say, oh my gosh, the thoughts, the feelings, the memories, the anxiety that I had trying to get through that 15 minutes, I can't do that. That is why we remain in the posture of doing. Men doing to prove themselves. Women doing to prove themselves. We're beings. In process of. living, talking, being. But we rarely do. I can't tell you how my soul, there are moments where my soul needs complete silence. There are moments where my soul is being called to go sit by the water. There are moments where my soul is calling for nothing but fresh fruit and vegetables. But we are so clouded. We're so clouded. And we have started programming our nervous systems to just stay clouded. Oh my gosh, I don't have my phone. You have kids in school that when a teacher says, give me your phone, they resort to violence to keep it. I'm not going to say nothing else.
You stir it
up. Being is philosophical. And here's the other thing. When I work with women in particular about relationships, I don't want to be by myself. Words mean things. You're not by yourself. You are with yourself. Oh my God, you went to the movies by yourself? No, I went with myself. It was me, myself, my ancestors. Being. Yeah.
Man. Ooh, I just had that glimpse where I'm like, yeah, wait, yeah, she did go to Howard. You know, that's like the Ivy League of blackness. You know what I mean? Cause she on that Obama level.
Oh, look, and it's so funny because remember I told you I was a pre-dental student, so I was a chemistry major, chemistry and biology.
Oh, wow!
So I was going to dental school to become an orthodontist because I was like, that's cute. But I took, so at Howard, they have these 4 categories. And regardless of your major, you have to have a certain number of credits from those categories. And the one I chose was like a Psych 101 class. The professor was Dr. Ronald Hobson. I am a descendant of several amazing Black psychologists. Ronald Hobson. Another one is Dr. Jules P. Harrell. Phenomenal, great minds. The chair of our department was the first to graduate from Emory with a PhD in psychology. My other professors they studied at Yale and Stanford and came back to replicate at Howard, right? So I was surrounded by these minds that just caused my consciousness to expand exponentially. Dr. Hobson was not only a clinical psychologist, but he was a doctor of divinity. So in my very first class that shifted me to say, let me go change my major right now, was him saying that other people's recollection of your experience doesn't invalidate what you feel. The picture he created for me of being in a Black church, equating the hooping and the hollering to orgasm, what? I need to learn. It freed me. So if it freed me, I said, I know it will free other people. This is what I need to do.
It was a draw and a pull. Ooh, man.
Mm-hmm. So much so that I was at the end of my junior year in biology and chemistry, the end of my junior year. And I said, I don't want this no more. And when I changed my major that summer, I took 12 credits. And my senior year, both semesters, I took 21 credits to graduate on time.
It's a lot.
in my research.
Jesus.
Because I had found myself. I had found myself and I saw myself. And I didn't want to let her go. So, yeah.
But now you're in the position without a person needing to have this extensive education. And I mean, extensive. And not only that, you had a mind of a scientist, still do, right? But
Mhm.
you're able to break that down and bottle it and
Mhm.
give it to someone if they listen and pay attention, right? Without going through all of that, right? That's how
Mhm.
powerful and important your words are,
Mhm.
right? And people, I promise you, this is the time. This is your time.
Mm.
This is so your time, because
Mm.
out of any other time, everything you speaking of have spoken
Mhm.
are direct conversations I've had in the last week.
Mm.
2 women split
Mm.
between
Mm.
white and
Mm.
black.
Mm.
From the issues that I have seen or heard, down to the things that people are dealing with today.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah. 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 I love working with women. And what I'm seeing right now and what I am actually working on and we'll be speaking more about is how women have abdicated so much of themselves. They've disempowered themselves, right?
Hmm.
And how it's time to come home. It's time to come home to yourself.
Give me, because they're going to have to get more. Wait until you come out with more, right? And Dr. Miles Monroe years ago said, people appreciate what they pay for. That was he would set up a table and he had 150 books, tapes, and everything else. And he was the one person that was a pastor that I was around that actually worked just as much or more with governments in the world
Mhm.
as he would do in churches, but he would work in governments, right? Helping them with human capital, if you will. And give us, you said, to come home to yourself, right? I want to cover
Mhm.
2 things. I want you to give them just a glimpse of what it means to come home to themselves. And then the other thing
Mhm.
I want to talk just briefly on I want people to understand Reiki energy. And I love the fact that you have the clinical background, because you don't have to go so woo woo, because we have a
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
people that would be Reiki, but then you combine the yoga and the Reiki and the somatic dancing, and then they just basically copying white people. And white people are doing nothing but taking all this stuff from all these other cultures and blending it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
granted, I know
absolutely.
some personally, and I know they do some good work, right? And they have good hearts per se,
Yeah.
right?
But it's still appropriation.
Yeah.
Like you can be a good person and still like appropriate. Oh, I like that. I want to do it. That's all it takes.
And I'm not sure how much it's really helping individual people that it helps. I got clued into this from a white person that was like, you know what? I'm tired of doing yoga for these stay-at-home moms. Like, and then she went to the hoods, got her degree, and then went into the prisons and start teaching yoga and developed a nonprofit because of that. So it's like you can appropriate, but at least get down to the nitty gritty and start
Mhm.
really helping some individual people. But
Mhm.
coming home and then
Mhm.
dovetailing into what the heck is Reiki energy?
Yeah. So coming home is what I've kind of, it kind of is born out of my own experience, right? So believing that I had to go outside of myself to get what I needed. That could have been looking for love outside of me, because anytime you look for something outside of yourself, you, one, are disconnecting yourself from it, right? Because think about it. Anytime I get a woman on my couch and she's coming in talking about relationship issues, it's always because she has been searching for validation, control, and security externally. All three of which you are supposed to get inside of you, because when you look outside of you, guess what happens? People can take it away and people can manipulate it. You will always be at the mercy of somebody else. But we do it in other ways as well, right? Thinking that we need an apology or acknowledgement from our mother or our father because they wounded us. So now you're looking for your healing outside of yourself. So when you can turn around and look at yourself and start to cultivate all of those things within who you are, you really start to see yourself. You really go, it's like I call it a Wizard of Oz moment. You realize you had the red ruby slippers the whole time, and you get to click them together, and you get to go home. You didn't need the wizard. You didn't have to end up in the poppy field on this weird journey. You didn't have to be snatched up by a flying henchman. You didn't have to break out of the witch's castle. You had the ability and the power within you all along, but nobody ever told you that. Nobody told you. So that is coming home to yourself.
And this Reiki energy.
So Reiki, there's different types of Reiki. There's Kemetic Reiki. This particular Reiki is based from Japan, Usui Reiki. And so as a level 2 practitioner, what I usually do is explain that energy is in every living thing, right? If we took, we could take data right now, we could look at videos, we could get a meter, and we could test the energy field of a plant, of these roses here on my table, right? So everything has an energetic field. What Reiki does is it takes the energy of the universe and uses it, right? Channels it into your energy field, into your body through all of your chakras. And the ones that we see on the diagrams are not the only chakras in your body, but essentially what it does is it helps to remove blockages in those areas, right? And coupled with my seeing, the experience for me usually is having someone on my table. I'll have, different tools that it just depends on what they're needing and what they're sending out on what I'm picking up on. But what ends up happening is I'm also getting messages from them. People's ancestors show up. I had a woman where her grandparents showed up. When I say I could see them as clear as day, there was some Delta blues. Granddaddy had on a 3-piece suit. Grandma had a little dress on and was giving me a flower. And I was telling her, I said, because I always ask, because everybody's not open, I always ask, are you open to this intuitive message? Yes. I said, there was an older woman and an older man, and this older woman was wearing this and this and this, and she was giving me a flower. She said, oh my God, those are my grandparents. And when I was a little girl, I would spend the summers with them, and I would go and pick wildflowers. I said, wonderful. I said, well, your grandfather has a message for you, and I'm going to say it to you like he said it to me. And I said, and there was I could hear like Delta style blues being played. Get on up. Stop crying now. Come on. Get on up. I said, that's what your grandfather told me to tell you. And she just started to weep. I had another woman come in and I said, do you have reproductive issues? She said, yeah, I have some things going on. I said, I want to ask you something. Get sensitive. If you don't want to answer, it's okay. Were you pregnant? She said, yes. I said, I have a message for you. There's a little boy. He calls himself Peanut, and she just lost it. She had had a miscarriage, right? So in tapping into this universal energy, whatever the messages are for you, whatever the blockages that need to be moved, it does what it needs to do. We've been colonized enough being told what to do in all these protocols. So anything that allows me to engage in what is free flowing and can go where it needs to go, that's what I'm going to do. That is in essence what I do in those Reiki sessions.
Wow. Have you done remote ones yet?
Yeah, you can do distance healing as well. There's a different in order to connect because of the distance, there's just another protocol for some other things that you do. But yeah, the distance healing is a thing.
Well, we'll have to see what that looks like because I'm all for it. Yeah. That would be wonderful. Like, that would be, I'm willing to do it publicly. Like, that is so cool. And the thing is, we need it, right? This is the hour and this is the time, right? And I can tell you and I are probably within the same generation, right? These boomers we come pretty much after those boomers. And this is that era and that time, that quote awakening, right? We've gone past. It's like the stealing of it's like the people stealing the woke as a awareness or consciousness. What was going on with Black people is way different than what it is today, even if we was to say it without
that connotation.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Without we had it already shifted, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, and so here's the thing: it's because this is more of we passed that woke and being we're in this connecting to the divine, who we originally are, not just trying to be aware of somebody's behavior. No, we have a divine connect.
Yeah, because it's like, well, once you become aware, once you become conscious, what are you going to do with it?
It should be doing something to you, unveiling.
Yes.
I mean,
yes, because for me, I couldn't sit still.
Oof.
I couldn't hold it either, right? So if there were people who needed the message, I was going to give it to them. If there were people who were open, because I would get people that would come and say, there's more. Like, I don't know why I'm here. And I Googled you, or I Googled this thing and you popped up, or there's more. And I feel like you can show me. So it's not mine to hold. I literally would be penalized if I held it. And I don't want that smoke.
I think there's a lot of people holding even their little micro. Last night's live, it was about the journey of enlightenment. I had some people that are in the community come and speak, pretty diverse, right? And it was some of my patriarchs, my mother's Mother Gwen, Miss Gwen, out of Jersey area, so divine, beautiful, and she just her story and what she's been through, and now she's in this at 70. And there was Holly, who is a white female that met Bishop Carlton Pearson, but he was a person that came into our life via video, when she really needed, because of her white father and what she's seen in him and the slurs and things she went through. So she said she would always see God, and she would see that as a black man because she didn't want to see him.
Wow.
And so when he come around, when Bishop Carlton came around, it was like, and it led her down her journey and her path, right? And she began to heal as she's continually healing. And what happens is you could forget about, and I called it, I was like, we can still have in this space, I grew up with testimony service. So we could still do that same thing, if you will, have people come, and you have to count the small enlightenments. You have to count the things that you don't have to be a guru. You could count that it's just, you know what? I was thinking like this, and I got through that. And I done this, and this to get through that, even though these things might have been good, not good. But I'm here now, and we need to count those wins. Right?
Yes. Even a turtle gets to where it has to go, right? So even if it doesn't look like a lion, you're still moving, you're still learning, you're still growing, you're still evolving.
Even a turtle has to get to where it needs to go.
Yeah. I said that in the Feminine Flow conference, and we went to the water. We're on the river. A turtle like swims up to us. Yeah.
I know they were just like.
They were like, see, it's a turtle. Yeah.
They're just like.
Yeah. Because when you act shocked, you tell the universe that you didn't think it would happen.
Yeah.
Right. So like, it's a turtle. Right. I've gone into meditation. I was at home. I was in DC at the National Harbor, and the energy was so amazing. Like I had the most beautiful time, and I didn't do a lot of stuff, but I was very intentional. And I sat, looked at the water. I sat there and meditated. And when I opened my eyes, there was a little boy standing in front of me. He had gotten away from his parents. And he was like, hi, you're my best friend. And I was like, well, hello. How are you? And we talked. And then he left. Another family came up to me. Can we sit beside you? When you connect with your own divinity, people see God in you. And that's not arrogance, because essentially, if you understand Christ, you know that the goal was for us to be a bunch of little Christs, Jesus the Christ, right? Like Jenny the doctor. They're a bunch of doctors. So we were supposed to be little Christs.
That's in scripture, right? I could even in their scripture, you can it's in there, right? They say talk about pick and choose. We all pick and choose. What are you talking about? You ain't like you're not going through Leviticus and picking out everything and doing everything that's in there.
Right. Okay.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of different books of things where you'd be like, maybe it's a Middle Eastern thing, and they were doing that for themselves for that time in that era. And we just read it for wisdom, knowledge, understanding.
Yeah, because there's value in the wisdom of it.
I mean, if you don't use any of our past, especially when you start talking about something 2,000 years ago that's been translated in various different languages, and there, there's I think I read there was 5,000. It's like there was 5,000 word, 2,000 word with 5,000 meanings in the English language or something. It was basically stated it's impossible when you think about some of this text to be able to translate it unless you translate it the way you want to translate it, right? And regardless how it translates, the intention is not to take this as infallible, and then you try your best to have these people to give you.
And people take it as infallible, and that's the dangerous part. God is so dangerous.
Yes, very, very. I mean, look, think about Rome. I was just sitting there watching the vestment, the whole pomps and circumstance, the beauty of the Pope and and all that, the quote beauty, all you do is switch the music and lower the lights, and all of a sudden it is a horror film. I'm serious, like if you lower the lights and change the music, the outfits, the costumes, it turns into a horror film.
You know what's interesting? Have you seen Sinners?
No, bits and pieces,
Go see it. Because I had this, first of all, it was a visceral experience for me. But there was a moment where I said, oh my goodness, I said the juke joint and the church were the same places. They were the same. The lighting was different. But both places were respite and relief for Black folk. Both places provided freedom, which is why folks can go to the club Saturday night and go to service on Sunday morning. Yeah, there's duality in everything.
And it's hard to get in the minds, out of the mind, really, when you're looking at metaphysics. This is getting out of the mind. And that becomes a practice, right? And not everyone would be, I understand, not everyone's designed, meant to be that, right? But some of us are required to teach it, say it, and be it. Because just little enlightenments. I'm not looking for you to try to be me and get on a show and talk like this. Please don't. Like there was a lot of pain that we've gone through to get to this point. And a lot of pain we still can experience today with our own self and our own thoughts. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it's comfortable being asleep.
Right. Oh my God.
Sedation. Right? Because once you see things, once you know things, once you hear things, once you come into this knowledge,
there comes a responsibility when when Bishop Carlton Pearson you'll look at on his last will and testament, and it was a video in hospice, and they said, ask him to do a recording and do recordings. I'm like, yeah. He caught talking to me like he was like, I had a moment. I'll tell you something real quick that was really different. And he said, all these people are trying to get to me because they think I'm dying. He said, we're all dying.
Thanks.
He goes to, I text him and he's like, well, I'm about to go to this facility. I'm like, oh, you going somewhere? Because I know you're pretty bad off. And I looked it up. I was like, and it said Claire House, hospice. And I'm like, he was talking to me about going to this place like he's going just to a place. And he was like, oh, I'm just going to Claire House. Come on down. Just, yeah. And then I was like, he was like, eventually I'd like to do some videos. Yeah. And so video guy set up, and then the video guy sent me this video, and he was like, this is probably the last time you'll see me like this. Wow. This is the last time you see me like this. He said, but the last thing he said, was, I wasn't there, and I'm not a pastor. I'm not a guy. I'm a person that would help a lot of people like him, even though I've been around it, very philosophical, very learned, right?
Yeah.
And he said, Malakai will carry this on. I'm sitting there and I'm like, why did he say my name in his last video? I was like, why did he put that on me? And Spirit was like, you want it. What do you mean? Yeah, I do enjoy it. I do love it. I do enjoy the work and the investigation, and the feelings. And I love, he said that. And so I've taken it not just personal, but as a commission,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
because of the fact that, and he was really specifically talking about what we call his expanded consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, on the other side, I'm going to do everything I can
That part.
to help you.
That part. But see, and that's the other powerful thing, right? Because we think that people die and they're gone, depending on which belief you subscribe to, right?
We
some
here.
people believe they're gonna, you know, to be present, you know.
That's for them, but listen, we here.
Right.
Let
Like
it out, sis. Let it out.
But they are working on the other side.
Come on.
They're listening, and they just need to know what we need support with.
Come on.
They just need to know, right? Because energy is never destroyed. So that's why it is a transition, because no, I'm not in this physical body because it ages, right? It doesn't stay around forever, but I am here. What do you need from me on this side, right? Like, that's real. Clear as day. Let me tell you what happened. I was in the airport, and I have a practice that I do and things like that. But I'm in the airport, and I am missing my grandmother. Like, there's just something. She died when I was 16. She went in the hospital on my 16th birthday, and she died a couple of days later. And I was in the bed with her when she took her last breath. And I miss that lady tear. There are some moments where I'm just like, it's so, the grief is so intense. So I'm in the airport, and I am just walking. I don't even remember what city I was in. And there were two things that my grandmother enjoyed: peanut chews, it's a candy, and Utz plain potato chips. So I'm thirsty, and I go to the little store, and I go, peanut chews. And I turn, and I see Utz potato chips. Those are not common brands to keep in a store. So then I go to my gate, and an elderly woman comes over and sits beside me, and we have a beautiful conversation. And I help her to her seat on the plane, and I'm like, thank you, Granny. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Right? Like, it's there. It's there.
Wow. Synchronicity, understanding.
Yeah.
Like, holy cow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
You just have to be open to hear and to see and to feel and to sense. You just have to be there. And another thing, I was at another airport, and I had someone had given me roses. But when they gave me the roses, they were yellow. I looked at the roses, and I said, these roses are not for me, and I'll know the person by their tears. And I was like, where did that come from? So I get on the plane. The flight attendant, it was a gentleman, and he walks me to my seat, takes my bag, stows my bag for me. That's not common. Then he says, oh, your roses are beautiful. I said, thank you. He said, my mother loved yellow roses. And anytime my flight touches down and I have a layover in whatever city she's buried in, I'll go to her grave. And I said, that's beautiful. And your mom is here with you. And he started bawling. You know who got the roses? He did. All these things are always around us, but you have to be open to hearing and seeing and feeling them. Everybody can. You make the choice to say yes to it. You make the choice to say, okay. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Given a moment for the divine connection, as I was here and I was feeling you and hearing you, I mean, how many more people that are out there that will align with this? I know there are a lot, and being able to bring that together and that synergy, because this is going to turn into some fire reels, and there's going to be a lot of healing that people. I look at this as a distribution channel. I look at this as a broadcast frequency and signal, which it actually really is. And what happens is it goes out and people can actually grab. And as they grab it, we're going to have a fulfillment process that they grab, and then they're going to be right. I have a record that literally I'm producing, wrote all the lyrics, but I'm using the various AI technologies to do it. And the thing is, the lyrics, the function, the way it's coming is it's healing. And the thing is it's healing because of the words that are being said. Because we need words that when you hear music, that it vibrates a frequency. And that chorus and all of it's singable. Let it go, let it flow. Right? Let it go, let it flow. And the whole thing is that way. And I bring that up because it's a tool, and it's something that is just designed to, you take it and you're going to feel it. And the thing is, I'm telling you that because there's things that have come to you and things we have to produce and things that I need to help you with, wherever I can help you to get this out there, because of the fact that that is the answer and the ticket, because the people are, I'm telling you this, the people are ready and waiting.
Thank you.
They're ready and waiting. And so get ready. Get ready. Get ready. Thank you, TD Jakes. So real quick, I'm just going to bounce. Look, just Mother White was on here, and she said the thought of being was in my spirit yesterday. So this is just live to inside the Patreon before I'll just edit it. And so Mother White, who is a wonderful, she is one of our patriarchs, if you will. You will get a chance to connect with some of these people. Usually what happens is we have a Thursdays, 8:30, we go live. And 20, 30 of us I might teach, or I may have somebody, and we just powwow. It's almost like a live service, right?
Man, that is powerful. I'm not sure if y'all knew it, but that is something that was this is something that was recorded some time ago. And so I was like, it's time to play it. It was so rich, so amazing. And honestly, kind of feels good to sit back and watch and feel it and connect to it, because when you're in it and you're doing it, you're in it and doing it. And so I hope you guys loved it. I hope it was really good for you. I know I enjoyed it. We got some shows coming up. I'm going to have a show that will really, it's going to really do some, I don't know, some, may make you rethink a lot of things. I've seen it done before, but I'm going to interview and ask ChatGPT some questions, and you're gonna get to see something that it's gonna be mind-boggling. Anyways, I appreciate everyone that is here, that came out tonight. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely have her come back. I want to have her come back, and hopefully we get a live session in there with you guys so y'all can ask questions. If you have any questions, just make sure you can DM me, or you can DM Miss Deidre. It's good to see Miss Velma, Brother Ruben, Miss Marie, everyone that's in the room. Miss Claudie. Yeah, it's been real. I appreciate everyone that's there. Whether you are, if you're part of the Patreon, I think this is a Saturday we go live. I'm going to try to have some more stuff in the Patreon, have another special guest probably come just exclusive to the Patreon. So it is the expanded conscious community. I'm working on some things, working really diligently on this record. Most likely I'll release it to all the private community. There's going to be extra stuff even that no one's heard, but it's going to flow. You're going to, there's different things available. You'll be able to get the whole album, get the album with the CD, with a book, Beyond Belief, and talking about, and then all the lyrics. The biggest thing in that is going to be the lyrics, all the lyrics in there, because, the lyrics are important. It says, "The feeling is the secret." It's by Neville Goddard. And so it's designed to really just shake up your spirit, affirmation music. I'm working on a lot of different things. That being one of the big things is being able to release that, because it's really helped me just sit there and listen to it. I get a lot out of it. So, and if you're not a part of the private community, which you don't have to be, but you know what? Bam, that right there, you just don't know. Having all this software that I spend money on and just various different things, you end up spending quite a bit of money each month just to maintain and manage. And so it's part of it. So for everyone that has contributed, I appreciate you so much. And it will affect what happens in the future. There is someone that I definitely want to mention. I can't find them anywhere. But one thing that always happens, and I'm like, what? And of course, Miss Gwen, who is a part of the private community, but she has went above beyond. Miss Dolores, out of Detroit. I appreciate you and your gift that really, really helps. And there was, of course, Miss Deidre. She goes above and beyond. I appreciate you, Miss Deidre. Miss Wanda Caldwell. Thank you, Miss Wanda. And Lynn Doty. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I don't have a way in Cash App to actually contact you and send you anything, a note, but I wanted to look that up and make sure I mentioned Miss Lynn Doty for what you have done and what you contribute as we carry on with this expanded conscious community in this channel, and soon to develop into things that will it's just going to keep moving on. And there's some things in the works, and more teaching, especially the metaphysicals. I'm in the metaphysical teaching because I want people to be able to understand and how to use their spiritual gifts in order to alchemize, in order to bring forth things in your life, being healed and whole. Being healed and whole. I thank you so much to Miss Ce Anderson for that time that she has spent with us. And if you get a chance, you can go and check out her, all of her profiles. I showed it once, but just look up Ce Anderson Live. Ce Anderson Live. That's what it is on IG. But if you look up Ce Anderson or Cassandra, this is her website stuff. You can look that up. And I know I was thinking there were some people that wanted to do her Reiki therapy. So it's still on her website. That's the address. But if you just go to her website there, that's also her website. So if you just look up her name, you're going to get her website, and that'll give you the ability to go check out some of her services and what she offers. Yep, Miss Candyce. Thank you so much, Brother Don. I appreciate you 100%. There's a few men in the private community, and of course he's one of our paid members, and I appreciate you so much. You know, guys, it's only $10. I mean, like you spend it, and it's not so much that each little bit matters and helps, but honestly, to tell you the truth, as you participate and be a part of the community, honestly, it's more of an encouragement than it is. I spend more money on software than I get in from Patreon for the most part. My wife told me the other day, she said, "You putting a lot of time in that versus your business." So, yeah, so that's why I'm like, let's switch it up. Keep it moving, keep it going. I'm going to just have more offerings and more stuff and really look at the output. All right. Let's look at the output in terms of, the record comes out. Most likely it's going to have a course. You'll be able to buy the record, buy the lyric book, buy a t-shirt, and you'll also have the ability to purchase a course that goes along with it. That will be probably starting off a month from the time of release, and it'll probably run I don't know about the time frame, but it's going to be great, right? The Divine Authentic Self is probably going to be packaged with that, and anybody in the Patreon would, of course, get a discount on everything, and then but it's all going to be affordable and all transformative, right? I believe in transformative kind of work and things. So I have a 7 a.m. meeting with a wonderful guy. Actually, it's a life coach and counselor or therapist. May record a little bit of that and share it with the private community. And so I look forward to that tomorrow morning. I appreciate everyone that is here. Don't forget, we got the private community, we got the Cash App, and of course, don't forget to go check out Miss Candyce, Miss Anderson. All right. I appreciate everyone that's here, and look forward to seeing you next week. Bye-bye.
Why must we fight? Why must we fear? What broke the light and brought us here? What made us numb? What taught us to hate? Is this just pain? Or is this fate? What we think becomes what we see, becomes what we be. Wounded minds running on repeat. It's time to rise and set love free. Oh, walk with me, talk to me, tell me we'll be okay. We'll be okay. Whisper sweet melodies in my ear so I won't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Oh, sweet love, sing truth into this space. Bought and sold, minds in a bind, searching the world for what lives inside. We carry the answer and the sacred sign. Go within or go without, that's the true fight, that's the real root. Scars from the past still shape the now, but we can't break the spell, we just forgot how. Oh, walk with me, talk to me, tell me we'll be okay. Yeah. Whisper sweet melodies in my ear so I won't be afraid. Sweet melody. Oh, sweet love, sing truth into this space. Forgive us, we know not what we do. We built these chains, now we breaking through. The war is within, but the power is too. Let love begin, let the soul come through. Oh, walk with me, talk to me, tell me we'll be okay. Whisper sweet melodies in my ear so I won't be afraid. Oh, sweet love, sing truth into this space. Love is still true. We are the proof.